Hi guys, happy Monday. Happy Monday. I hate Mondays. I don't really hate them. It's just, after the weekends, getting to sleep in and just kind of do what you want to do. Mondays are my busy day, and they're good and they're bad. I love Mondays because I get to see five of my grandkids. I pick up five grandkids from five different schools. So I get to see them, which is always wonderful. I love it. But like I've told you guys, five different schools and none of them are close together. They're all on opposite ends of the city. We've got two elementary schools, two middle schools, and a high school. So yeah, and it's pretty much spread out. Plus I did Uber today. I did it for lunch. Actually, I thought we had somebody walking up to my door, probably a salesperson. What was I gonna say? Oh, I've been doing Uber. My glasses are crooked as always. I did it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday afternoon. So I've been just out there every day and it's been going good. Plus, my day job and doing YouTube. And you've probably noticed if you've been here for a while that I've recycled a few of my videos lately. And the reason for that is because I have been really busy doing all these other things, and I've got a lot of new subscribers and, they haven't gone back and looked at, my old videos. And I've worked hard on some of those older videos. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to recycle them. The ones that got really low views, I thought nobody's hardly seen them anyway. So if you did, just ignore it. I even put in the description of one of them that this was an older video, but I just, trying to find time to do it all. But pretty soon, you guys know my day job is going to be coming to an end, and summer is going to be here, so I won't be doing that, and I won't be picking up the kids from school, so I'll have a little more time to, devote to making videos. So I promised to put out some new material, like, I've been working on my herbal videos and all that. So, but anyway, enough of that. If you read the title, I am really curious to find out how many people have ever considered moving out of their home country, whether you're in America, or any other country. Have you ever thought about leaving? Because I get that a lot. Excuse me, cat hair. People say that a lot, especially when they find out I'm from, oops, especially when people find out I'm from California. They're like, why are you, move, get out of there. And it's like, no, my whole family's here, my kids, my grandkids. I'm not just going to leave them. No, I'll probably never move. But it's always shocking to me when I hear people that moved out of the country, not just, moved out of a state, but left the country. I think the only way you could do that is if you have no family. There's no way. You're not going to just move and say, bye, kids. Mom's moving to another country. See you again sometime, maybe in a couple years. I can't even fathom that. But I'm sure there are families that do that, and it's like, well, it's cheaper to live over here. I won't see you guys anymore, but at least, I'll be able to live off my income. Like I've told you guys 1,000 times, I would rather be poor and live in a tent and be here in California near my kids than, live in a mansion somewhere else. That means nothing to me. My quality of life doesn't depend on having stuff and things. It depends on being with the people I love. So yeah, I personally would never consider it. But if you don't have family ties, if you don't have a lot of family or you're not close to them, yeah, then maybe, you would consider moving. Or if you don't have a lot of friends, or if you're not afraid to move to a foreign country, which that's an obstacle too. Because as much as I've wanted to visit other countries like Italy and France and, Greece and all those places, it's never occurred to me to actually move there because, for one, there's a huge language barrier. I don't speak any other language. Um, I don't, the cultures are so different, they're fun to experience for a while. And I've heard that's what the biggest problem is for most people that have decided to move out of their home country and move to another one. For economic reasons or whatever, they're finding that it's difficult to fit in. Even if they think they're doing okay, the people that live there don't necessarily accept them. And people are moving back because there was a period of time where people were fleeing from, America. They were just like, I'm out of here. They don't like the politics, the economy, whatever. They can live better and cheaper in other countries. And so they did, but they're finding that it's not what they thought it was going to be. And so that would be a big issue too, once you move out and then having to move back. I think, obviously the number one reason most people move is the economy and then politics. They don't agree with the politics, but that changes with each president. It's like, oh, I'm going to leave because we have a Democrat president. And then, 4 years later, we get a Republican. What, are you going to come back? I mean, come on, you can't move because of the politics. But I think, like I said, the economy, I just don't know, what other countries have. Do they have, access to clean water and healthy foods and reliable health care and affordable housing? And how do they treat their old people? Do they have programs for them and their vets and, things like that? Those are important things to look into before you go. Not to mention the weather and the landscape. And the bugs. Every country has its own creepy crawlies. You know what I mean? It's like you need to think about those things. That's why I said, visiting is one thing, but moving is another. If I had to move, I absolutely, for whatever reason, it's like, oh, we just can't live here, World War III or whatever. We got to find another country to go to. Canada. Because for one, it's still on the same continent. And Canadian people seem just so nice and polite. And there's a lot of Canadians on YouTube. And it seems like the closest culture to ours. Just it's beautiful. It's stunning, the landscape up there. But their winters do look brutal. And that would be a concern because as we get older, the weather is, it's really important to pay attention to because I don't want to be driving in snow and ice and having to shovel that or be snowed in for 8-9 months out of the year. That's really going to affect my mental health, which is one of the reasons that I'm happiest here in California because, it's good all year round. Even when it's super hot in the summer, there's a good month or two where it can get over 100 degrees and it's hot, but it's a dry heat, but it's still hot as hot, right? But we can still get out. When it's 100 degrees, you go to the beach, you get the breezes off of the ocean and it's not so bad. But I just don't know about doing winters in other countries. That's something to consider. And, some of the warmer climates in the other countries, they have the humidity. And then every country has its own thing, whether it's hurricanes or tornadoes or earthquakes or, you're going to have something no matter where you live. These are all things you have to take into consideration, not just the economy. I mean, even though obviously that's the number one consideration. So what about you? If you had to move, if you absolutely had to leave your country, whatever country you're in, what would be your top choice and why? I'm just curious because most of the people that tell me, to leave America, it's all, for the economy and political reasons. Those are the two things. And it's like, I can outlast the political environment because it's going to change. Who's talking to me? All right, tomorrow after school. Okay. But, oh, I lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you're 63. What was I saying? Another thing that I would have to, or people should take into consideration. I mean, if you're older and you're moving, that's one thing. If you're retired, you don't have to worry about a job. But if you're younger, there's people with families. I don't even know if I could do it with my family. I've known people that have done it with families and they've come back because things were different. It was exciting and new and all that stuff, but they realized that things were just so different. And I don't know. How do people feel in their country about America? Because, we still get a lot of immigrants. We still get a lot of people coming here, which is surprising because right now, living in America, we're all like, who would want to live here? It's a mess with our politics and our economy and our housing shortage and healthcare and all that. But yet, it's appealing to some people because they're still coming. So, I was listening to Large Man Abroad, and he was saying, even the poorest of the poor over here are still doing so much better than, many other people in other countries. And we don't even think about that. To us, it just seems like, oh, things are just terrible. I can't imagine. But um, I personally, like I said, I can't imagine living anywhere else just because I don't know if I could adapt. Things are so different, even just their food, the way they cook. I have heard that our foods are terrible. They're worse over here than anywhere else. But I mean, just the way people cook and restaurants and that kind of stuff. I don't know how that would be. That would be another factor. There's just so many different things that you have to think about. I got to take this. Hold on. Okay, so basically, I really want to know what you guys think. Do you think it would be wise to move out of your home country, wherever it is, and just start a whole new life? Um, I don't know what countries think about, other countries. I know a lot of countries don't particularly care for Americans, and I get it. We're known for being rude and entitled and just disrespectful, because usually the people that travel are the wealthier people and they tend to be, I don't know, obnoxious, I guess. So we don't have the best reputation abroad, from what I understand. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I don't hang out with that crowd. I'm just telling you what things I've read off the internet. But I don't know. Do they like people from other countries? I know, most countries appreciate our money, but does that necessarily mean they care for us? And then what if the money runs out? It's one thing to have you in their country as long as you're spending lots of money, but if you're not contributing, I don't know. It's just something that I think about. So yeah, if you got a chance, let me know. I'm just kind of feeling a little bit tired tonight. I've been burning the candle at both ends, like I've told you. I still have not found balance. I've got to work on that. I keep telling you I'm going to, and I haven't. I just work. I just keep going to work because it's like I need to make the money and I want to work while I can, but that's not smart. You need to force yourself to take some time off. I need some self-care. I need to slow down, um, get caught up on my sleep because, like I said, I can get by on 5 hours of sleep. I can still get up and go and do all the things, but I just don't feel as good as if I've gotten 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Oh, it makes such a huge difference. So I need to force myself because eventually it will catch up with me. Right now I'm doing it and it's okay, but I don't feel my absolute best. I am feeling better. I'm back to, 100% since I screwed up on my diet. I cleansed all that out of my system. I've gone back to eating, normal, healthy, whole foods again and, cut out the sugar. So I'm feeling better. But now I'm just tired because I'm just overextending myself. I'm doing too much, which is, I always say, yeah, 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 I can do it all, and then I pay for it later. It's like I need to learn, I can't do it all, even though in my mind I feel like, I'm in my 30s. I'm not, and it does take its toll. So I've got to find some balance. I got to sit down and make out a schedule, but it changes. Like I said, my day job's going to be coming to an end and summer is going to be here and it's just going to change the whole dynamics. And my granddaughter's going to stay with us for a month this summer, which I'm absolutely looking forward to. But, I'm going to be busy doing things with her. And yeah, I really need to right out of schedule. I'm just going to have to force myself. So anyway, you guys, I really would appreciate you commenting, letting me know what you think about it. I'm just curious because that's the comment I get the most. Why are you still there? Why don't you move? You know, there's people living in other countries and apparently they're all loving it. They're fine. But I like America. I'll be honest. I do. I think it's a beautiful country. Yeah, it's expensive, but like somebody said, if you're at the point that we are in our lives where we've bought our home, it's almost paid for. It's different. If we were young and struggling and we were renters and it would be a whole different situation. But we're past all that, so we're okay. But it's still, it's a difficult place to live because things are just getting continually more expensive. It's not like things are getting cheaper, and gas and food and utilities and cars and just everything is just going up, up, up. But besides the economy, and that's everywhere, right? It's not just us. It's not like everywhere else it's going down. Things are going up everywhere. But overall, I like the landscape over here. I like the weather in the western part of yeah, and there's some places down south. It's just the northeast, Midwest, northeast, where they have the harsh winters, which I would love to go, for Christmas and have a white Christmas, but that's the extent of it. But there's so many places here I haven't even seen yet that I want to go visit. All the national parks and the coastline on the East Coast, and like I said, Mardi Gras down south. There's a lot of wonderful things here in America, and there's some amazing people, and I want to see it all first. So before I even consider traveling abroad, there's some places here I would like to check out. So maybe someday I'm going to be around for a long time. So I hope I can, at least check out a few more places. So anyway, you guys leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.